to reach.
Yes, I suppose when you look back at Cork's performances again, is right. I mean, they've been in Division 2 of the league. Same with Dublin. I mean, even though Dublin had an excellent run, I think it showed today in the last 20 minutes of the game. They lacked that bit of pace to keep up with the Kilkenny attack, you know, and that was the difference in the end. Dublin will get great heart out of today. They put in an excellent performance for a good 50 minutes of the game, but conceded 2 goals, you know. And here we see the first goal. It's a free by John Costello coming in. PJ Delaney, I'm sure, will be looking at this tonight, and as he gets in front of his marker, turns and seems to hit a wonderful shot. But to me, I think PJ was going for a point on that occasion, and I think if we can see the reaction to PJ himself, there's a little smile comes on his face, I'm sure, to say that he actually maybe meant to put the ball over the bar, you know. But you get that bit of look on the day, and today Kilkenny did have that look. But again, as I say, it was great play. Dublin on the other side, I mean, you need to have a panel of 20 players. Kilkenny were able to introduce today the likes of Philly Larkin, the likes of PJ Delaney, and PJ Delaney's introduction worked wonders. Here we see the second Kilkenny goal, and we maybe see this again the second time round, but it's a wonderful ball into square, I think, by Philly Larkin, and up goes DJ Carey, and no better man in that position to get the goal like that. But if we see it in the replay, as we see the Dublin guy coming away with the ball, to me I see a lot of referees giving frees for a challenge like this, you know. It seemed to be a very high challenge into the chest of the Dublin players. We see it here, bang, and the ball is gone. He seems to take the ball was gone. He seems to take the player, but give credit to DJ. I mean, for his, probably by his own standards today, he probably had a quiet game, but there he is at the end of the day, scoring a great goal, and that's the difference between the sides.
Right, Tomas, well, Kilkenny are into the Leinster final. What about Dublin? If you were to give them a bit of advice now out of this, where do they go from here in hurling?
I suppose, I mean, you'll have to treat the league very, very serious, you know, and if they can come up with another few players, as I just mentioned, for the likes of Kilkenny to be able to introduce the 3 substitutes today. Dublin struggle at times in the second half today. They win with a 5-point cushion at half-time, but could never build on that lead. In the second half, Kilkenny scored 2-11. Dublin only managed to get 5 points, you know, so I think that tells its own story. They need to find maybe another 1 or 2 forwards and find more consistency over the 70 minutes. They gave a great performance, but at the end of the day, Kilkenny, with those 2 late goals, were victorious.
OK, let's go to the second game, Wexford versus Offaly. One thing that I felt now, and maybe this is just a notion, but I thought that Wexford played with a confidence you don't normally see, or haven't normally seen over the last 10 years in a Wexford team. Yes,
and when you're All-Ireland champions, I mean, when you run out the dressing room door, you're running out with a brim of confidence. Like, you're there to be knocked. Everybody's out to knock the All-Ireland champions, and Wexford knew that today, and they came storming out into the game. It wasn't an absolute brilliant performance in the first maybe 40 minutes of the game, but the last 20 minutes had everything, and Wexford tonight will be very, very happy with their performance. There's some great performances all over the field.
It doesn't tell the full story, obviously, of this match, but nonetheless, there was a tale of 2 goalkeepers about this, wasn't there?
Yes, I suppose when David Hughes looks back in this game, he won't remember it too well, you know, and here we see the 65 from Liam Dunn. To me, maybe he tries to touch the ball over the side, out around the post, but unfortunately tips the top of his hurley and ends up in the back of the net. That was an easy score for Wexford. As I say, the high ball that comes in, you'd like to see a goalkeeper maybe go up with his hand and catch those type of balls, because there's always a chance when you go up with your hurley, it's going to come back maybe into player or maybe back into the net, and this time it went back into net. The second goal, again, as I say, it's maybe a fault of David as well, right, where he lets the ball come away from him, and Gary Laffin comes in with a second chance to actually get the second goal, and that was a great boost to Wexford. I mean, for All-Ireland champions to get a start like that, it's brilliant. But again, as I say, the tale of 2 goalkeepers, you see Damon Fitzhenry turning out to save at the end of the day. I mean, we said today, look, as he got the ball here, Billy Dewey, that was going to be a drawn game. And the one thing that I like about the save is not alone does he actually stop the ball, but he clears it out, and it's cleared away a good 20-yard distance, right, and no in rushing forward can actually make contact with that to actually hit the rebound to the net, and it was an excellent save.
Offaly never quite fired in the forward line, to my mind, today, and when they needed inspiration, it came from a midfielder.
That's right, you know, we mentioned today in the show today that Johnny Dooley, everybody expected Johnny Dooley to do it for them, you know, and Jolly had a great game today, but I think when they needed inspiration in the second half, they got it from this man, Johnny Pigleton, and this, to me, was the score of the game. It was a great solo run down the field, and a great shot with his left hand into the corner of the net. Johnny did something similar again in the first half and ended up getting a point, you know, and he seems to have a big engine in him and can run up and down the field, be in defence and be on the forward line. And that was the inspiration score that kind of brought Offaly back into the game when they needed scores today, and it certainly was a great goal. Gave the goalkeeper no chance from that angle.
Yeah. Well, Tomas, speaking about big engines, we've seen it from him so often in the past. Martin Storey, who has played great hurling for Wexford when there was no reward out of it. He did as much smiling as hurling today, and he surely did a lot of hurling.
He did, yes. And I mean, in his interview there, he said it was all about guts and determination in the last 7 minutes. But Martin's story today was incredible as regards to long-range striking and long-range scoring. Here we see him with his left hand in the first half. That's an excellent point. But maybe 2 or 3 years ago, Martin was in these positions and wasn't getting the scores. Today, as I say, when you're full of confidence, when you're being to an All-Ireland final and victorious, these things seem to go right for you. And today, they certainly went right for Martin. And in the second half, when Wexford needed him, because they went 17 minutes in the second half without a point from play, and Martin's story comes up trumps.
That's right.
He got 4 points from play today, and that's an excellent return from the centre forward.
OK, Tom, also going to ask you for your man of the match in a moment. Just a reminder to people at home what the award is to our man of the match winners. There it is. It's a beautiful watch. I know it looks like the dashboard of the space shuttle there, but it's a very valuable watch. Tomas, who did you give it to?
Again, it's a hard decision to pick man of the match in a game like today, you know. I thought Kush for Wexford had an excellent game of fullback. They tried numerous markers on him and he was really a dominant force around the square. I thought Eugene Furlong in his first game of cornerback really settled in well in the second half and they played an excellent game. On the other side, from an Offaly point of view, Jolly Dooley, I think, again, was left with a lone 4 up front to battle it out. But my man of the match goes tonight, it goes to Liam Dunn, the centre-back. I thought he gave an excellent performance. In the second half, when Offaly really came at him, he was the one guy that constantly came out with the ball defending, and his long range striking up the field relieved them of great pressure. So to me, he's the man of the match tonight.
Liam, of course, was such an inspirational figure also last year for Wexford in their championship run.
Yes, and well, I'd say that today, that this Wexford team, there's a few born leaders in the team, and Liam Dunn seems to be one of those with Martin's story, and they'll look for him again the next day.
It's going to make the Wexford-Kilkenny Leinster final an interesting game, isn't it?
It sure is, you know, and at the end of the day, I mean, Wexford, I think, will be confident tonight after getting over this hurdle that they can go all the way again. Yeah,
who would you fancy for it now, just from a neutral point of view?
I think Kilkenny are still finding their feet as regards to what's the best 15 to put out at this stage. If you looked at the Wexford team after tonight, you could say you could pick 13 or 14 of that team, and that's the confidence that goes with a winning team and a settled team. I think Wexford will be hard to beat purely on pure physical strength. They seem to be very dominant around the key areas. As I said, Liam Dunn, the Martin Stories, the Larry O'Gorman midfield with Adrian Fenlon, they're all big, strong men, and they seem to bring other players into the game a lot more, you know. Kilkenny, on the other hand, are relying too much on the likes of DJ Carey, and again today they had to rely on DJ to come up trumps at the end of the game.
Sure. Well, I mean, I must say, when you have people like DJ Carey around, then you can certainly rely on them. All right, Tomas, thank you very much for the moment. Now, in the midst of all the hurling entertainment at